honorable chairs, co-chairs, dear friends, distinguished colleagues, I'm very touched and grateful for this yet another opportunity to address you from this high podium. And I am very grateful to the Spanish presidency for keeping Ukraine in focus of the European agenda, Ukrainian war, but also Ukrainian transformation in focus of the European Union. You know, these days, Ukraine is commemorating 90th anniversary of the great famine, Holodomor. That was the genocidal attack of the Soviet authorities on Ukrainian people, trying then already back in 1930s to erase us from the map of the world, for our spirit, for our desire to be Ukrainian. And unfortunately, if we earlier on at that point, if we were not silent, if we were not turning a blind eye on the situation which was happening in the center of Europe then, when millions of Ukrainians were dying on the most fertile land, if we would have taken action with regard to punishment of the Bolshevik regime in the same way as we punished the Nazi regime, maybe we could have had a different globe today. Maybe we would have had a different situation today. Because we have to understand that, unfortunately, Russian Federation today is continuing exactly what they did back in 1930s to Ukrainians. Just the dictator's name is different. It's Stalin, it was Stalin, and now it's Putin. We are grateful to all those parliaments of your countries that have already taken the decisions to call spade a spade and to commemorate the Holodomor of the Ukrainian people and to recognize it as a genocide against Ukrainians. And I hope that others will also step up with their decisions as well, making sure that this tribute to solidarity and recognition of historic truth will also be made in all the European states. So here I stand today as a representative of the nation, which is unfortunately for 8 years and 643 days bleeding and in stress and in pain. But I also represent here the nation that has shown to the world its courage, its bravery, its resolve, its resilience, incredible resilience that I think everybody is admitting already. And we are the nation that is fighting for something that we all commonly believe in. And that is freedom of choice, and that is democracy, the right to build the prosperous country based on the rule of law within its recognized borders, where dignity of each person is recognized and it matters. I do represent the nation that every single day today is going through such challenges that for any nation would be enough to start to suffer and to paying for years. Just a few examples. I'm sure that you're watching the news with regard to Ukraine, but I think that some of the cases have been especially incredible in their brutality. On the 5th of October back in this year, there was an attack, an Iskander M ballistic missile was launched on the small, tiny village of 600 inhabitants near Kharkiv, the village of Groza. 59 people which gathered at that point in the cafe to mourn and to give their tribute to one of the fallen soldiers have been killed. Some families have been killed in all 3 generations, grandparents, parents, and the children. Later on, a couple of days later, in another small village in Kharkiv region, another attack on a postal service terminal has taken lives of 7 people and 17 were injured. As we were traveling with my colleagues here, Russia has restarted its attacks on our energy infrastructure and on our civilian residence buildings. Only one night 6 hours, the air raid alert was ongoing. 76 attack drones were attacking Ukrainian cities. 66 of them were targeting Kyiv. Yes, we are extremely grateful to our air defense forces that have been able to take down 98% of those. And they have been capable of doing that because of your support, because of the weapons and air defense capabilities that you are helping us with. And we are very, very thankful for that. And so with this sincere gratitude for what has been possible to achieve together, I would like to ask you to do more, to produce more, to send more, because the urgency of the deliveries matter, because the quality of each type of weapons matter, and the quantity of the weapons do matter. And unfortunately, colleagues, dripping, inconsistent, limited weapon deliveries are not going to do the trick. Only full resolve and ramping up the capabilities and full mobilization of resources of the free world will allow us to do something that we all have to agree upon, to defeat Russia. We are, as Ukrainians, we are dreaming on focusing exclusively on recovery, on reconstruction, on transformation, on European, Euro-Atlantic integration, on social and economic and environmental policies. But in order for that all to become on the top of our agenda, we should understand that the only way to do this is to ensure that Russia is defeated. You know, freezing of conflict and allowing the monster to regroup and attack with new force, or allowing the global bully not to be punished, or trading Ukrainian territory for so-called peace in Europe, none of this will lead to anything close to lasting and sustainable peace on the territory of Europe and in the globe. So we can do this together. And I'm sure that, you know, when the European Union is giving the pledge of providing Ukraine with 1 million shells over the year, it is possible to achieve. And economic giant of that type as European Union is, it can ramp up the production and ensure that this 1 million shells that would protect Ukrainian lives will be sent to Ukraine. Yes, we need everything. We need radio electronic equipment, we need drones, we need demining equipment, we need tanks, longer-range missiles, artillery pieces, howitzers, planes, and thank you for providing those. The quantities should be more. So please do work on this in your countries. You know, we should not be afraid to actually try to defeat Russia. Because fear and hesitation, that's exactly what is feeding that monster. That monster that is not only attacking Ukraine today militarily, but is attacking your countries in different ways. You know, by weaponizing migration, by information campaigns, by supporting radicals that are already gaining ground in some of the older European states. And I think that everybody sees that worrisome tendencies that we have to respond to. So we have to understand that Russia will readily allocate additional efforts and resources to further fuel radicals, destroying the unity and monolithic nature of Europe. And we should not let this happen. Don't forget, Putin was very clear back in December of 2021. I hope we all read those letters that he sent to President Biden and to leaders of NATO at that point. He wants to go back to the borders of 1997. And if you, dear friends, do not want in the future to mourn your best sons and daughters as we are mourning every single day, please step up your support to Ukraine. Please help us to win today. Help us to defeat the Russian Federation. And two more things. We are very grateful to all the allies that are part of the North Atlantic Treaty Alliance for confirmation that Ukraine's future is in NATO. But time is ticking already in the wake of Washington summit. And while we in Ukraine are ready to do our homework, are ready to transform our procedures, our approaches, in order to be compatible in all senses with NATO countries, we also need the allies to be courageous enough to take the decision and invite Ukraine in NATO already in Washington. Because giving Russia a signal that our membership is impossible during the war, as we heard just one of these days, is nothing else but inviting a Russian Federation to make sure that it continues this war endlessly. So taking a robust decision means showing strength, unity, and power, and that is exactly something that Russia cannot digest. And last, but definitely not the very least, granting candidate status to Ukraine towards the EU membership was definitely a historic tectonic decision without any exaggeration. And we are very thankful for the decision that was made by your nations. And positive report, recent positive report and recommendation of the European Commission confirmed really our success in transforming the country along European Commission's recommendations, despite having to fight this brutal, barbaric war for survival. So we do sincerely hope that history is right now in the heart of the understanding in the EU, and transforming the EU not only into economic giant, but also into a geopolitical giant will be done by the soon-to-come decision of the European Council. And I hope that every single national government, with your support, with your backing, will actually take the another historic decision already in December and seize the opportunity, grasp the opportunity of this historic possibility, and open up the possibility for negotiations, for accession negotiations for Ukraine, will open up for all other aspiring nations, so that based on European Commission's recommendation, we can continue our work. We know it is a difficult and lengthy road. We are prepared to go through it together, and we are hoping that you will be helping us also on that path. And that means that we will be building together free, prosperous, and definitely democratic and definitely strong Europe. You are not helping Ukraine out of charity or pity. You are making a serious investment in your own security, in security of your nations, in security of your children. And then we will have this Europe free, whole, at peace, united, appealing to other parts of the world. So I hope we will manage to achieve all of this together. Thank you so much.